Thank you,
You,
Laura.
Laura.
You're welcome.
So I'm starting with the first resolution. Be resolved to accept minutes for meetings held on March 22nd and April 12th.
I'll second that. And Jackie, there were a couple of notations on the minutes to look for.
Look at those and make those corrections, Jackie.
No, look at the notations.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Be it resolved to accept the town clerk's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very nice report, Jackie. Be it resolved to authorize payments of audited vouchers in the amount of $230,359.78.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Be it resolved to authorize transfers per transfer sheet.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Be resolved to accept the retirement of Ellen Pichero effective April 30th, 2022, and be further resolved to recognize and thank Ellen for her 22 years of service to the town of Woodstock.
Second.
Second.
I got
All
it
in
first.
favor? All in
That's-
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Ellen,
And Bill,
thank
I don't know if we can comment on that. Ellen has been wonderful. I am so grateful for Ellen's service to the town. And she's broken a bit of a barrier because I believe she's been our first building inspector, zoning enforcement officer. And so she's broken the mold in a way. And I think life has been a little tougher because of that. But I think she's done a great job and we'll miss her.
Yes, Ellen was our first full-time. We did have a fire inspector, I think, Debbie before, but she was part-time and only a fire inspector. And hats off, I admire Ellen because she started out as a clerk in the building department and worked her way up, took classes and really rose to the top. So she should be congratulated for that. And just to segue back to my first announcement about the radio station, tomorrow I'm focusing on the women of Woodstock who really make this place great. And we're not, I only have 4 guests coming on, but there's easily 15 more that we can do next time, Jackie. Be it resolved to accept the retirement of Jeffrey Schultz effective April 30th, 2022. And be it further resolved to recognize and thank Jeffrey for his 35 years of service with the town of Woodstock Highway Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And again, 35 years. I mean, that's incredible achievement. So
Thank you, Bill.
thank you, Jeff, for all those. Who's waving to you?
I'm right here right now.
Hey, there you are. Put my glasses on.
I told
I-
Karen, you were resolution 100 of 2022.
Oh,
Good
wow.
job.
Congratulations on 2 fronts.
So Jeff, my thanks also, having been on the Witchdock Town Board for a lot of years and so grateful for the Highway Department for so many years. And thank you so much for your service because people think so highly of the Highway Department and how great the Witchdock roads are compared to the other roads that are within the boundaries of our town. So certainly thank you for all that you have done to provide such great service to the town.
Laura, thank you very much for all that. And I'm very proud to serve this town for all these years. So thank you very much.
And
Okay.
Jeff, I know it's not just the highway department. You've got as many years in at the fire department. So thank you. for
42
that.
years, 42 years in the
Wow.
fire department. Yeah,
So even more.
yeah.
Congratulations. It's quite
Yeah.
an achievement.
So
We'll see you around town, Jeff.
I appreciate all of it. Thank you.
Jeff, thank you.
That's Reggie.
You're welcome, Reggie.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Reggie.
Whereas Cody Chase has taken on additional responsibilities of maintaining safety data sheet books as well as creating and leading regular morning training sessions for the highway employees. Therefore, be it resolved to promote Cody Chase to grade 4.75 with a rate of 2698 effective April 18th, 2022.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be resolved to hire Corey Schmidt as 90-day full-time temporary police officer effective April 22nd, 2022 at an hourly rate of $25.72.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Whereas mental health is essential to well-being and vitality of our family, businesses, and communities, and whereas mental health conditions are real prevalent in our nation, with 1 out of 4 Americans and 1 out of 5 children affected by mental illness. Whereas more people die from suicide in the United States than from traffic accidents, and an estimated 22 veterans die from suicide each day. And whereas the stigma and fear of discrimination keep many who would benefit from mental health services from seeking help. And whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full productive lives. And whereas education, compassion, and awareness about mental health and illness can change negative attitudes and behaviors towards people with mental illness. And whereas each business, school, government agency, law enforcement agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the responsibility to promote mental wellness and support preventive efforts. Therefore, be it resolved to proclaim the month of May 2022 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Woodstock.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bill, I'd just like to point out Family of Woodstock's 24/7 line
Mhm.
that folks can reach out to if they are in crisis or if they just need to talk. That's 845-679-2485. They can call or text that number 24/7, and there are folks available to assist them.
Thank you, Reggie. And give me that number again.
It's 845-679-2485.
Thank you.
Also know they're also always looking for volunteers on the hotline. If folks are interested, they can call that same number.
Fantastic, thank you. And they've been around for a long time too.
They have and provide a great service.
69, I believe.
6970
I believe they're the longest continuous hotline in
in the
operation in
United
the United
States.
States.
Yes,
Wow.
they are.
It's quite a record.
Remember when they were up in there?
We just don't call them about movie times. There are people that call for a little extra. But they're happy to try to help. We even give you the movie theater number, but call it for help.
With that, I'm going to go to the council. So Laura, I'll start with you.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well, I have a cheat sheet. So things going on. As people know, I am a liaison to the Witchdock Environmental Commission. Earth Day is coming up this coming Saturday, 11 to 2. I don't have my little sheet. Oh, there it is. I do have a little sheet right here. So join us Saturday, April 23rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our community center on Rock City Road. So a ton of speakers and different events for Earth Day. So for all ages. So come on out to Earth Day. I'm looking forward to it. So Earth Day is going on. I was at a composting. We had a composting visit this afternoon. So I just made it back in time for this meeting. But some people who are really well advanced in composting and giving ideas to WEC members that were there. So we may hear more about composting at the town board, but there are a lot of things that can go into it, a lot of education about it. And so we'll see what evolves on that. Critical environmental area is that document is still being moved forward. And so I don't have the date yet for when the WEC is going to be having the next meeting, but the plan was to have a meeting at the Xena Firehouse. We already had the meeting at the town board meeting where property owners in the proposed area came and asked a lot of questions, and they had a lot of questions. So the idea was to have a second meeting. So I believe that's planned for May, but I'll let people know when I know more about that. But we definitely want to be moving the CEA forward. Zoning Revision Committee, there are 3 of us in the Zoning Revision Committee on the Housing Oversight Task Force. That law is being worked with the consultant. She's given a copy for the Housing Oversight Task Force to look at. We've given some feedback. She's going to be giving us something else. So that's being well worked. That's moving along really well. The water law, I know, is in the hands of the town board, and we should pick a date of when we're going to say, hey, now it's time to move that forward. But the town board does have the updated water law, as well as the map, as well as supporting materials. And it was the group of 7 bill that you had appointed, and the group of 7 went off and made some improvements to the proposed law. So that's what we have now, is the law that the group of 7 says, hey, this is, they approve this law. There were some adjustments to it and it's looking good, but we should pick a date of when we start moving that.
So
law
actually,
forward.
Laura, if I could just interrupt for 1 second, what I would ask the board to do is all take a look at that document. And what I would like to do at our next meeting, first meeting in May, is offer a resolution to forward that document to both the planning board, the Woodstock Planning Board, and the Ulster County Planning Board, which would be the next step in the process if we're reasonably comfortable with the law. So
Okay.
if each board member could get back to me over the next week or two, I'll plan to offer that resolution in May.
Okay. Well, as you might guess, I'm in support of it.
Okay.
So there you go,
Excellent.
because I was the lead of the 7-person board that took a look at it. So, okay. And the next thing is the telecommunications law is coming along really well. As I reported last week, we had gotten the copy of it, or the lawyer that we have hired to write the telecommunications law. We got the copy of it from him in March. The zoning revision committee had a time to thoroughly look at it. A week ago at our meeting, a week ago from yesterday, we reviewed all of our comments, questions, and concerns with the lawyer. He passed back a marked up document just yesterday. I'm going through it and I need to then forward it on to the zoning revision committee. We have our next meeting this coming Monday. And what my hope is to take the things that the lawyer and we agreed on, and right now it's in a marked up document, and accept those changes. And I can pass people the marked up document, but also the clean document that has those changes accepted. And then we'll see if there's any more zoning revision committee questions or concerns to where it stands right now, and then hopefully get that back to the board. So that's coming along really well. So a lot of stuff going on. I'm also the liaison to the Complete Streets Committee and the Complete Streets Policy. We got that a little while back. The highway department took a look at it. Bill and I met with the highway department people, and they had a counter proposal, which Bill and I said, wow, that looks reasonable, and sent it back to the Complete Streets Committee. They did a counter proposal to the counter proposal. And so now that's going to be flowing back to the highway department, but it's moving along. That is also moving along really well. So we have a lot of things are in the final stages and what I consider moving along very well. So a lot of stuff going on. The other thing I do want to mention is NYSERDA came, some people came to talk about community heat pump. They came to this town board meeting, I guess it was a month ago, and I did volunteer to work on that. So Ashley, I said to Bill the day, well, who do I reach out to make progress on that? And Bill said, ask Ashley, she's got the contacts, because I do want to jump into that and see. There's always deadlines coming up. I don't know if we can make the next deadline, or would it be the one 6 months out? But in any event, I do want to get with the people and find out more about what I need to do now and who else is doing and where everything stands on that. So that's the community heat pump, because we did agree at the last meeting that we would, as a board, say, go ahead, let's see if we can get this $100,000 grant to have an investigation across Witchdock of what would make sense. And so the reason what I want to jump in on is, what do we need to do to get the application in for that? So so there's definitely a lot going on. I'm sure I'm forgetting things, but that's what's on my list at the moment.
Thank you, Laura. Maria-Elena?
Yes, let's see. So with the Housing Committee, I know that they are currently working on a revision of the ARP fund proposal. I should be finding out more about that at the next meeting, which is next week. And pertaining to the Senior Rec Committee, I've met with those folks twice. They're fantastic, and they've got such wonderful classes for the seniors in our community. They have some requests, but before I go into that, they are also very grateful that they received their art supplies and they've received their exercise equipment. So that's great. So they're now set for the year moving forward. I know that they were also asking about, and I showed you, Bill, over at the community center, they'd like one more sturdy metal shelving unit for that closet over there for their supplies, especially now that they've got some art supplies and exercise equipment. So they're going to need some more space for organization. And there's this-
Maria-Elena, if you could just have them contact Al, because as you and I look at that closet the other day, there's a lot of stuff in there that empty boxes and whatnot that we might be able to clean up. And,
Okay.
Maintenance could help with that, but I think senior rec needs to be involved to make sure nothing important gets lost.
connect Al with them.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
But then would they put in the request for the metal shelving through, send that to Ashley?
I'm sure we have a shelf around somewhere, so.
Okay, so for the shelf. Okay, Al. Okay. There are some other line items, but I'm gonna make a bulleted list and send that to everybody on the town board and we can discuss it. Okay,
Bennett? You're muted, Bennett.
Thank you. I attended two tree committee meetings as the liaison, and I've been working with the chair of the committee and with several of the members individually. The work has focused on moving forward in selecting and planting the memorial trees. And hopefully donations are rolling in for the memorial trees, which will honor Jane Allen and Michael Lang, David Gross, and others. In addition, the committee is seeking funds from the town to care for and maintain those memorial trees. They feel this is a very important part of not just planting the trees, but also funds to maintain and care for them. An Arbor Day tree planting is also in the works at the tree committee, and they're very thankful to a local business owner, James Jennings at the Tinker Taco Lab, and thank him for offering placement on Tinker Street for the Arbor Day tree that they will be planting. A committee member from the tree committee will be joining the Woodstock Tree Task Force as it considers best practices and possible changes to the tree law. In addition, I have spoken with, and the tree committee members, two of them have spoken with the owner of the Bearsville Center, and now the tree committee is going to be working together with the owner to come up with a resolution after the cuttings on the property there. That's the tree committee. The Chamber of Arts and Commerce, I've attended two chamber meetings and have worked individually with the president and the vice president. Their priorities are refurbishing and upgrading the current chamber kiosk. And this is really at the top of the chamber's list. And they are seeking town funding to paint and to add a ramp to the kiosk, which is located on town property. And I, for one, think that upgrading this accessibility and adding a brighter look is worthy of our support. The chamber is also adding new members, and because of that, they're updating their offerings and their services. They are finally looking forward to collaborating on the planning of the streets and the sidewalk repairs that were announced earlier this year. While that is far out in 24, I think, they hope that they can integrate a proposed park rehabilitation to the project and are looking forward to being a part of the committee that works on that. The Woodstock Land Conservancy, I met with the Land Conservancy Executive Director and their Stewardship and Land Acquisitions Coordinator as the liaison to the Land Conservancy. We walked the Comeau property and we discussed the easement and the distinct roles that the Land Conservancy and the town both play as stewards of this amazing and beautiful space that is in the middle of our town. In addition to being shown two species of woodpeckers on our walk, I also learned that many of the tree varieties along the trail are fighting an ongoing fight with invasive pests. I agreed to keep the Land Conservancy in the loop on the Comeau renovation project and the possible historic designation application as both of those things move forward. I also attended one meeting of the Comoe Stewardship Advisory Committee. And while I'm not the liaison, I offered to help them and support their work, specifically working with upkeep and maintenance of the trails. For the boards of education and their school districts, as the liaison, I reached out to the board presidents and I heard back from the Kingston City Schools and the Onteora Schools. The Kingston City Schools president was happy to hear that he had an open line to the town board, and should the school district need to contact the town or the town board of Woodstock for anything, he was glad to know where he could reach out to. Of course, he could always reach out to the supervisor. He offered to keep us up to date on any issues affecting our municipality. The Onteora School Board President and I met and we discussed the need to coordinate more closely on items of interest to Onteora parents, students, and staff who live and work in Woodstock. We agreed that I would invite an Onteora representative to participate in the Woodstock Tree Task Force, given that Woodstock Elementary is in the current area governed by the tree law. We felt this was an appropriate place to begin working together, the town and the school district. So those are the 4 liaison committees.
Thank you, Bennett. And last but not least, Reggie.
I will be brief because we're coming in under 30 minutes so far. So
We could do that. Go for it.
So CSAC, they're going to be on Earth Day on Saturday out on the property to share information with folks that are coming to walk. As Bennett mentioned earlier, they really are focusing on upkeep and maintenance on the trails. They're looking forward to the trimming of the fields by our maintenance crew. Also on May 1st, speaking of maintenance and upkeep, they're going to have the first CHIPS Day. May 1st, Sunday, May 1st. Fire department, I went to the most recent meeting. They did not have anything they wanted me to bring to the table. We did enjoy some trash talk of the supervisor and Donald Allen, one of our commissioners. So that was fun.
I'm not at all surprised.
And lots of laughs were had.
At my expense.
Yeah, your expense and Donald Allen's.
Listen, if I can make you chuckle, Reggie, it's worth it.
No, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Youth department, as I mentioned last week, this coming Saturday at 11:30, from 11:30 to 1:30, they're going to be meeting the youth of our town, and anyone else is welcome to come and help and get to know some of the young people that come to the youth center. They'll be doing a town cleanup. Again, that's this Saturday from 11:30 to 1:30.
Do you know what area? All over town?
All over town. I don't know the exact area, but I know they're going to start there. And there's the 20 pokers, right? Mention that. I'll make sure I mention that to Patrick before Saturday. Patrick does a great job working with our youth in town, along with the assistance of Lauren and Mike, and they're busy all the time over there. So
excellent.
yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Reggie.
Yeah.
Ashley, do you have any one?
Oh, so Bill, I had one more thing I want to say before we leave the topic. Okay, so I did just check, and for the board members for the water law, I had sent it to everybody on March 31st. So if you're looking for it to review it, I did send it to everybody on March 31st, just so you know. And what I forgot to do that we should always do is thank our volunteers, because I am a liaison to several volunteer boards, and they are a lot of passionate, dedicated people. And thank you so much to everybody who is working on a volunteer board.
Agreed. Thank you.
Ashley, any public be heard?
I do not have anybody posting in the chat.
Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Karen?
2 minutes? Okay, fantastic. Is it okay if I come up there and put something on the table, because I can't
Yes.
hold everything?
Yep.
I brought with me a couple of things that were put together by the Woodstock Library Alliance, and I'll give you each a copy. The top part is that 2012 engineering report, which has been discussed, and where the lead and the arsenic show in 10 Dixon Avenue. The building the library is proposing to buy And what I've done, and this would be for other board members, I guess we've got 3 more board
Three more.
members. Yeah. What I've done is I've talked to Joe Mangan, who most people know was very involved in the facilities task force, which the library put together. Joe and also Joe Doan are both very concerned about this presence of arsenic and lead in the early report and how it could, as they're both professional engineers, and they wonder how it could have just disappeared in the 10 years. So we all feel that an additional study needs to be made because, as Curry Rensler has done here for us, he's done a map that show the relationship between the Loa Miller building up there in the center of the map and flowing southeast, as the engineering report says it does, the water flows right down to the Woodstock well. And I don't know where the camera is, or I could hold this thing up. Is there a camera
Right there,
behind me?
right
Yeah.
there. See on the wall?
Oh, hello, camera, the little thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if I stand there, will it show it?
Oh.
No, it won't. Okay, but I have emailed this to the people who are in the Woodstock Library.
And I assume you gave it to the library.
Not yet.
Okay.
This was just printed today. And so because Joe Mangan and Joe Doan, 2 professional engineers, are very concerned about the remediation of these toxic chemicals in the building, we feel the May 10th vote should be delayed
You're gonna need
until,
to talk to the library
yeah,
about
well, we will do that.
that. Okay.
Because as you all know, when there's a gas station that closes and someone wants to buy that site, what you have to do is take that soil, put it on a conveyor belt, run it through an oven, and cook things out of it. So this is what we're facing. We don't have any record that's been done here or any other kind of remediation. So that's what's concerning us all. So we will be talking to the library board to tell them we think the vote needs to be postponed until that can be done. One other thing I have is a copy of the Monroe ruling that shows you have to have a public hearing if you decide to accept the library from current zoning law. And I've got a vertical line right under your thumb, Reggie, where that exists. Yeah. So we don't want to have any confusion about that. The Monroe ruling, which will allow exemption, is 5 pages long. It's easy to read. And this is the crucial part. You have to have a public hearing if you want to do it.
Thank you,
Okay,
Dara.
thanks.
Thanks, Bill. I'll give these to you, or should I give them to Jack?
Jackie,
Yeah, I'll
Jackie
make
makes
sure
sure.
Okay, for the board member, other board members.
We'll make sure Ashley gets them in there in your folder.
So they'll be in your folder in the office, okay? And with that, I'll call for adjournment.
Second.
Wait, one
Wait.
second, hang on. Just
Could-
want to mention again, very quickly, that tomorrow night, 6 to 8 at Community Center, Bennett and I are hosting the noise law listening session. So we just wanted to remind folks. Thank you.
Could we identify that last speaker, please?
All right.
Hera who?
Hera, that's her name. That's it.
HERA.
Is that a first or last?
That's her name.
Phil,
First and last.
Phil.
Saying legally.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. The first hybrid meeting went pretty well, I
Yeah,
think.
thank you, Ashley.
Yeah,
Please, thank you so much for, and Bill.
thank you. All right, let's go home.
Hey, Bill, I didn't say it, but isn't there an
I must say one thing though. It sounded like everyone was in a lavatory. There's a lot of like reverb. So it was an okay meeting, but the sound could have been better. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the feedback, Felicia. We'll see if we can adjust it. We do have a soundboard where we can adjust volume and stuff, so we'll have to take a look at that.
Maybe if people are mic'd closer, because I think the problem is there's like just probably like 1 or 2 general mics that you're using. So you're picking up
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
had
room
3.
reverb.
We had 3 set up tonight, but we do have a total of 4.
Okay.
If they had a laptop in front of them, that would have helped.
Right, because then each person has a mic right by them.
Yeah.
I'll bring that back to Bill. I think he left, but I'll bring that back to him
Okay.
tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, and Bill Campbell, you were asking about Hera. I guess kind of like Cher. I guess she's kind of got one name. Everybody knows who Hera is. Hera.
Well, I didn't.
Well, now you've met Hera.
Yeah, well, it would be handy to have that first or last name because even Cher really does have a last name. So does Madonna. Yeah. So.
Well,
and
I
don't-
looked her
don't
up in
shake
the
your-
I looked her
don't
up in
shake
the
your head,
voting
no.
records.
Cher has a last name.
Yeah, right. Well, so in the voting records, Hera shows up as her last name.
So what's her first?
Well,
Her legal name is just Hera.
yeah, people know who Hera is in Woodstock.
Okay. All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Bye.
Did you mention any about who Ellen's replacement is? I came in late, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that Butch is picking up. I don't know whether there's going to be, I don't know if there's going to be a replacement. I don't know if Butch is going to try to do it all or whether there is actually going to be somebody else coming in. I'm not quite sure what the answer is, but I know that Butch has been here for I think about 3 years, and Butch knows a lot of what Ellen knows. So there won't be a gap, but I think there would need to be a decision of what needs to be, do we need to then replace? I haven't heard an answer of that yet, but I do know that Butch has been around for 3 years and knows a lot.
Yeah, no, I know that, but as you recall, Laura, in the comprehensive plan, 2 people, one being a building inspector and the other being a CEO.
Yeah, well, I think that Ellen recently put in her retirement letter, that being the case, we'll see what unfolds now, but certainly nothing could be done until she put in the retirement letter. And I think people have known for 5 years that the day was coming someday, but nobody knew what the day was, right? And now, now that we know what the day is, I don't have an answer of what the answer is, but we'll have to see how that evolves.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, good night. Nice to